You are very welcome back, and keeping with all things spooky, we are taking a trip, I was made to do that, to Ireland's most haunted house. It's Loftus Hall on the shores of County Wexford. Now, it is considered to be, wait for it, the most haunted of all time by a ghost of a young woman and the devil himself, Ian.
And the devil himself, he goes shooting through the roof, so he does. Ghost hunters Tim Kelly and Tom O'Mahony made a programme that will be broadcast on 3E tomorrow night, showcasing the sinister happenings in the house. Before we speak to them, let's take a preview at how they got on.
The history of Loftus Hall, it's a very twisted and tortured history that this house has. Really, it's an unfinished book because the history continues to this very day. We can't explain things that have been said to us here, things that members of the staff have experienced in this house, things that I myself, up to a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have believed were possible. But on seeing and feeling these things firsthand, you know that Loftus Hall is still very much alive.
Good work by the cameraman there, I tell you. That looked really spooky.
Goosebumps.
Guys, you're both very welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks. Tim and Tom. Tim, the paranormal investigator. Tom, the skeptic.
Venkman, yes?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying.
Ghostbusters. Very good.
Saying.
Now, I've been to Loftus Hall, and I must say it is creepy as hell.
Is it?
Oh, it's honest to God, your
I've
skin
never
will
been.
crawl when you go into the place, and well worth a visit. The kids loved it. Tim, I would be kind of more on Tom's side of things, that I would be naturally a skeptic. You know, go around making a living out of investigating these.
Well, I wouldn't say making a living.
Well,
it's more of a hobby. It's more of an interest than anything.
How do you measure whether there's a ghost there or not, or a spirit there?
Well,
exactly.
okay,
Is there
let me
ghosts?
preface what I'm going to say by saying to you that I'm a skeptic as well. I mean, you know, a lot of the time we can explain what happens and the reasons for things happening. But there are times when stuff happens, and Loftus Hall seems to be.
Is there such thing as ghosts? I mean...
Of course, absolutely.
Okay.
We found 4 or 5 of them just this morning.
He
here in
sees them
studio.
all the time.
Like Pokemon, are they running around the place?
Pretty much, yeah. Hold on a second here and I'll check this out behind the sofa. It's behind you. No, but I mean, I have, I suppose, the skeptic head on me as well, but I've been around Ireland to different places. I stayed in Ashford, I stayed in Castlemartyr, and I had 2 odd experiences down there, and then later on we found out that they do have kind of some kind of paranormal or supernatural kind of, I don't know, frequencies there. Is that true, though? Or are we just made to believe it, or is it a kind of shock factor?
Well, 98%, I'd say, of happenings can be explained away. I mean, you can say that there could be rats, for instance, in an old building making noise, and people immediately jump to, there's a ghost up in the attic running around the place. You know what I mean? But no, it's 98%, as I say, is explainable. You know, there is a thing called. Well, it's not. But there's a thing called the EMF, electromagnetic field. So if you have a bad circuit in your house, your electricity is causing problems. So an average one would be a couple of points on the meter, and if it's gone up to 150 or something like that, that's going to mess with your mind. It mess with your perception.
Tim and I worked together before in Today FM, and in Jervis Street.
Yeah.
And Jervis Street was the site of an old hospital dealing with people with drug addiction. And a chap who worked there, a friend of ours, I won't mention his name in case he doesn't want me to mention it, but he says that he was there in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, right? And he saw this ghostly figure of a nurse in the old garb, right?
Nice.
Walking about this far above the ground, right? And when he checked it later, right, he found that was the floor height of the old floor
Of the
in
old
the hospital.
hospital,
Oh, see, that just makes me weird.
That's brilliant. Because we were in the old buildings.
Oh my God.
That's a cracking story. If nothing else, that is a
There's been a few
story.
I've had as well, strange ones,
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So tell us, what did you experience?
Well, it was, I don't know, it's little things. Even when I was a kid and I was brought to Malahide Castle, and they say that they have Puck, who's the ghost there, and I thought I heard him. And then more recently, as I mentioned, I went to Castlemartyr, and I'd been there and I'd been asleep, and I saw and felt a lot of like kind of cold wind. Oh, I'm going to be murdered for this. I really am. I'm so sorry, Richard, because he's going to be like, why are you telling this story? But it just felt very, very strange. And when we woke up the next day, I couldn't sleep, and I went down and I spoke to the night porter, and we'd said there was a really weird experience, and there was this man, and I could describe him. He had kind of, the ruffles from the 18th century, and yeah, I remember it looking. And then he said, hang on a second. Yeah, he said, hang on a second, I'll bring you into the other room. And we were checking out super early. It was like 6 a.m. And he said, it isn't him him by any chance? And I was like,
Oh, there's a painting of the that's
so there you go.
So what did you find in Loftus Hall, guys?
Well, you go. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, like I went down there with the total skeptic's eye. Like the way it was described to me beforehand was by producers that were kind of giving this heads up. You know, it's scary, Tom. I was like, what's scary? And they were like, well, it's really, really dark. Okay. I was like, dark? I'm from South Tipperary. We do dark. I once got bitten by a badger on the way home. Like, that's scary stuff. But like that, we got up to it, and it does look the part, the whole thing. And I'm still, the cynic in me is going, oh, come on.
That looks like Blair Witch.
It does.
That's a night vision camera, is that what you're looking at?
With night goggles.
Within no time at all, honestly, you do, because you'll find temperature dropping from room to room.
Shush.
That was the big thing, because I was going for the scientific thing, but quite literally, through a threshold, it drops 5 degrees. It was very, very strange.
And when the temperature drops, do you get some sort of a feeling as well? That there's something
immediately. Yeah. And straight away I was fighting, because I was like, no, this is just a temperature drop. There's a window open or something.
There's a rational reason for this.
There's a rational, but after a while you couldn't. Like, through the thermometers, we were looking at a chair.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this chair had a strange glow coming off it.
See, I believe that.
There was no way into this room other than the way we came in. It was shut down for the day, so nobody had been in there to sit on it and get it nice and toasty or anything like that. This chair was glowing through the thermometer, and there was no explanation for it.
So are you, as a result of that, Tom, now less sceptical, more believing that there may be and this time of year, of course, tomorrow night is when the veil between this world and the next world is at its narrowest, you know, so the spirits can go over and back.
Yeah, he knows. Hey, see, he pretends to be a skeptic, but he knows.
That's what I'm saying. He knows his stuff. I think he is.
I think I am, because there was a few points where I went upstairs. I went upstairs by myself because of being nosy and whatnot.
Well, we sent you upstairs by yourself.
But have you seen anything? Like, did you see a figure? Did you see a body or a ghost?
That's the thing. I may have.
Oh,
you're going to find out
tomorrow at 10:05.
We're here every week.
Oh, God.
No, but we sent him upstairs alone with the night vision cameras, and he was slagging left, right, and centre all night. You know, being what he does.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, he was shuffling out like Ozzy Osbourne. Like, we had to actually bring him down slowly.
But Tim, have you ever captured a ghost? When we look at Ghostbusters, Slimer.
Yeah.
Don't cross the street. Don't cross the street.
I got the ghost.
Have you got him in there? Let's get him out. But we weren't.
Did we ever photo
Did you ever find one, photo one, capture one? Where is it?
Well, what about that one that was taken in the porchway of Loftus Hall?
Yeah,
see that one?
That wasn't our photo, but somebody did take a picture in the
porchway
of Loftus Hall,
you
and
have
you
to
could see
see
a figure
this.
of somebody.
You'll never get me down
It's
there.
during the day, there's a ton of people outside all having sandwiches, chatting amongst each other, and there's somebody took a photograph, and there's definitely a figure of some sort.
The devil himself.
The devil himself.
It was the devil himself, and he shot up through a hole.
Insurance doesn't pay out in what the devil does either, because there's still a hole in the roof.
And they can't repair that hole. It's unrepairable.
It's unrepairable.
Guys, best of luck tomorrow night, 10:05 on 3E.
All will be revealed.
I'll be watching like this.
Through the fingers.